Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Chris.
Thank you. So my name is Chris. I'm from the Netherlands. For people who don't know where's the Netherlands, it's next to Belgium. For people who don't know where's Belgium, it's next to Luxembourg. So you have a term of reference here. By the way, the fact that I'm from the Netherlands, I didn't bring any drugs, so sorry for you guys. I'm living here for some few years now, and I made some friends. One of my friends, and yeah, well, the previous guy mentioned him already. One of my friends is called Boyko. It's a typically Bulgarian guy. I met him. This guy does something in politics. Maybe you know him. I met him, and he was wearing this anzug, you know. And when he introduced himself, he said to me, "I'm Prime Minister of Bulgaria." Oui, je suis Napoleon Bonaparte. So I said to him, like, you know, since you are in politics, oh, by the way, since he's a good friend of mine, I always call him Bate Boyko. You know, you're close. And, you know, since that we are close, so I just asked him a few questions because, you know, I'm new in Bulgaria, there are things that I don't understand. So I walk in the park, which is called Borisova Gradina. Maybe I ask him, is this named after you? Anyway, there was a lot of, you know, they were like fixing a lot of things. So they were putting a lot of asphalt in this park. And I told him, like, this is very weird, you know. I've been once to Vidin, and actually the road just stops there. You know, the road stops. There's no. So why don't you put this asphalt there instead of a park? Maybe. And he says, yeah, that's a good idea. But he said, the opposite would be even more terrible. What kind of political joke is that? The opposite would be terrible. Well, suppose that we plant trees on the road to Vidin. Weird guy. Anyway, they were talking to me about, I have a friend, I have some friends, that's great. If you live somewhere longer, then you get friends. I have a friend from Khaskovo, and she said that, you know, people in Karjali, if you go there, the parties, they go there and they just give them one kebabchi and they will vote for them. I say, really? Is that how democracy works in Bulgaria? He said, no, in Khaskovo it's not this way. I said, so how do you do it? We ask 2 kebabchi. Anyway, Bulgarian, you have a very strange and weird language. For me, at least, as a foreigner. The thing is, like, you know, when you start to learn the language, it doesn't matter if it's Bulgarian or Dutch or English or whatever, you start with a word that is very simple. You know, you start your first word in Bulgarian. Mine was Polygraficheski Kombinat. You know, just slip on the tongue. And then what happens is that, you know, when you form your first word, you go to your first sentence, you know. So try to make a sentence with Polygraficheski Kombinat. I made one. Since the time I worked in the call center, and I went with a trolley bus, you know. So with the trolley bus, you know, after 1 week, I could say one sentence. Didn't got me a lot of friends or something, but hey, I spoke Bulgarian, right? Yeah, your language is weird. It's very weird. It has a lot of things that don't make any sense, you know. For example, the Bulgarian word for onion is luk, right? Luk. But why the hell do I have to fill a car in a place called Luk Oil? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make really any sense. Then there's this word izik. Izik. There's this word izik. You have Ispanski izik. There is Nemski izik, Angliski izik, Hollandski izik. But somehow you can go to a restaurant to learn Teleski izik. Really seriously true. A friend of mine went to Filingrad. Oh, you're explaining the joke, great. I was prepared for an intelligent audience, but it's great to help me. I skipped all the dick jokes. There was a pause, there was a dick joke there. No, anyhow, where was I? I was explaining about Izik. A friend of mine was in Filingrad, and no joke, they translated Teleski Izik Vymaslo in beef language with butter. No joke. Another translation, which is always very funny, was nervozno kufte. And it was translated in neurotic meatballs. Now I have a vivid imagination, and you know, I'm from Holland, so I use some drugs, but a neurotic meatball. Is this a meatball that's in denying itself? You know, like, I'm an apple, don't fry me. Why does everybody want to fry me? I know that in England, like 15 years ago, they had this mad cow disease, and suddenly all the meat was gone. I think I know where it went. Neurotic meatballs. I found out just as a thing, you know, because you have to, when you learn a foreign language, sometimes you have to make your own rules to make it like logic, you know. So I found out that you have three genders. I mean, there's this whole debate that there are 2 genders, but in Bulgarian there are 3 genders. Male, female, and neutral. The neutral you call sredin-rod, right?
Yeah.
So I found out that if you have a word that ends on O, most of the time this is sredin-rod. For example, Vicky Storaro. Is this love? Poor guy who's singing in English. Who made this guy sing in English? That would be like me singing in Bulgarian. Yeah. Yeah. Bulgaria is one of the oldest countries in the world. No, you're not. Yeah, we are around since the 8th century. No, yeah, you mean there was this Asparuch guy and he says like, hey, let's cross this like plains and go somewhere and call it Bulgaria, and this is great, but you know, there has been 500 years that there was no Bulgaria. Let's say it for the sake of a metaphor, you know, that what happens. Like, suppose that Bulgaria is a person living in a house. What happens is the following. Knock, knock. Who's there? Otto. Otto who? Ottoman Empire.
This is so funny. Not at all.
Guys, there is no way that you can have 500 years of history in which you're not existing. It's impossible. Or you must have very good mushrooms here. Magic Mana Turkey. We lost 500 years around history. But metaphysically we were there, so who cares, you know? Just write it down. Write it down. 500, who the heck? What's 500 years, man? Nobody knows. But if imagination is a thing that we can like say that that it counts, I would like to say I could make a case for an imaginary country, right? I would say Middle Earth qualifies. Middle Earth, there are 5 books at least written about Middle Earth. There are 6 movies about things that happen in Middle Earth, right? Middle Earth is the oldest country in the world. Let's make a case for Middle Earth. Oh, what? Let Gollum make a case for Middle Earth. Yes, we are the oldest country in the world. Yes, but the Bulgarians, they stole it from us. With the roses and the yogurts, we hit them. And with this message of peace, I would like to end my conversation.